Hi, Glenn Samuel here from Sniper Photography. Today I want to talk to you about, I think, a subject which is very, very important, which a lot of people don't seem to do with their photography these days, especially with the images they create. And that is printing your images, and why I think it's important that if you don't print your images, I think you should consider it. Now, whether you use a professional photo lab or you have your own printer, I suggest really it's the final piece of the puzzle. I believe in printing your images, and that way you can control who sees your images. The problem that I see with people on social media is that 1 minute their images is there and 1 minute the image is gone. So if I was serious about photography, if I was you and you're serious about photography, I suggest you probably look at getting your own website built and putting your images up there, or print them out and hang them in your home. There's nothing better than walking in every day and walking past an image you took 12 months ago or a couple of years ago and thinking, I remember that day. It sort of like gets your creative juices flowing for your next photo shoot. But printing your images has a lot of advantages, and not only by preserving them in front of you. Most images or most photographs are either locked in a computer somewhere or floating around in the never on social media or on a hard drive somewhere. I don't know how you expect people to see your images, really, if that's where you're putting them. As I said, I believe in printing your images, and maybe have a website where you can show the best of the best. And that always works. People will always gravitate to a website if they've got your website address. Now, printing your images, as I said, has lots of advantages. And one of the main advantages of printing your images is that it creates an urgency within yourself to make sure that every shot you take is print worthy. In other words, that will improve your photography. It's actually, your mindset is forcing you to really concentrate and making sure that you get everything spot on and everything right. So think that every time I go out with my camera, I'm going to print at least 1 or 2 images. For me, when it comes to landscape photography or seascape photography, I usually print 1 to 2 prints or images from every trip. Now, at this present stage, and this has happened over many years, I've got over 640 prints here. Some of them are in frames throughout the home here in the studio, and I change them twice a year. I turn them over, and that way I've got different things on the walls throughout the house and the studio here. Now, I recently purchased my own printer, and it's an Epson P9000 large format printer. Now, this thing is not cheap. It's quite expensive actually. Costs a lot of money, but over a period of time, instead of spending money at a pro lab, which I've had a very good relationship with over the years, being able to come home, do a slide edit, and then print your image out is very, very satisfying, super satisfying. So hopefully the rather large outlay of money for this printer, the P9000 Epson, will pay off in the long run. But if you can't stretch the budget that far, I suggest you get in touch with a pro lab and form a relationship with them and start printing your images. There's really no other way to improve your photography than to print your images. I mean, we can go out and we can study photography and learn everything and know everything about, well, as much as we can. But when it comes to actually taking that final image and putting it on paper and then putting it in frames on your wall, that is photography. That is how I learnt many years ago, printing out my own images. And I feel a bit sorry for the younger generation now, because everything's digital and it either stays in the camera or in their phone or somewhere, as I said, floating around the internet somewhere on social media, which really doesn't help your photography. It doesn't help you grow. But printing your images will help you grow. And forming a website, whether it's just to showcase your images or to sell them from your website, is another good thing. but printing your images is, I think, the complete job. That means you go out, you study the area, you know what equipment to use, everything's spot on, then you come home, throw a few up on social media, and that's it. That's not really progressing with the photography. Now, I know that's pretty blunt, but sometimes blunt is the way to deliver. And I think that if you start printing your images, you will improve as a photographer. There is no doubt printing your images will help you dramatically. It'll lift you from here to there. Simple as that. So think about printing your images. If you can't afford to buy a printer, you don't have to spend as much money as I did on the P9000, which is a massive unit. There are less expensive printers that you can use, but I like to print out large format images or prints, so I needed that capacity. But either that or form a relationship with a good pro lab. Forget about those big box stores, as I said earlier in other videos. Keep away from them, guys. Just form a relationship with a pro lab, and they're in every city or any major capital city in our country. So remember, print your images will always, or will help you improve your photography. It's a complete circle. From taking the image or from navigating your way through the scene, you've taken the image, you printed it, bang, job finished, and you've got that forever. It's not going to disappear, won't be used by anybody else, won't be pirated. So printing your images, I believe, is super, super important if you want to progress with your photography. So that's it for another episode of Sniper Photography. If you've got any comments or points you'd like to make, please put them down below. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell next door so you don't miss anything. So as I always say, be nice to yourself, family and friends. But most of all, you keep shooting, and bye for now.